You're watching The 7 from WATE 6 on your side.
Good evening, I'm Bo Williams, and welcome to The 7. Let's get a look at the big 7 stories right now. At the top of the list, the two sides got closer and closer, and after hours of mediation, a deal in the lawsuit over Knox County school mask mandate. WATE 6 on your side reporter Veronica Obey followed the process.
That's right. This mediation is where the school system and the parents suing the school system came to hash it out on this mask compromise. And we have those results here for you. The school board agreeing to pay $145,000 in legal fees in exchange for the case to be dismissed. Back in September, Knox County Schools was ordered to put a mask mandate in place because of COVID-19. But that mandate was ordered to be put on pause last month after the CDC reported a lower level of COVID in Knox County. We should also note that mediation is not the final step in doing away with the school system's mask mandate. A federal judge order says a mediation report still has to be filed within the next 7 days. After this, the compromise still has to be approved by a judge. And again, the settlement they reached here today will need to be approved by state authorities. Reporting in Knox County, Veronica Obey, WATE 6 on your side.
Veronica, thank you. Meanwhile, a motion to dismiss the Knox County Schools chewing gum lawsuit has now been granted. You'll recall the parents suing here retain the same law firm representing those families suing the school system over masks. At the center of this case, a student with a rare medical condition which reportedly causes an extreme reaction to hearing the sounds of chewing. The family plans to appeal and wants the court to put a stop to chewing in classrooms until the case is decided. Next on our Big 7 list, a fire in a hotel room leads to a body. Knoxville firefighters made that discovery around 11:45 at the Regency Inn on Magnolia Avenue. The first engine pulling up saw just a little smoke coming from a room upstairs. It didn't take long to put the fire out, but in the process, a body was found near the door. KFD says the fire and smoke caused only light damage. They are still investigating. So is the police department. Right now, foul play is not suspected. Moving through the Big 7 list for you, answers about a chase across state and county lines. It ended with a crash and a deadly shooting by officers. Tonight, we know the name of the man killed, Paul Derek Moss II. This goes back to Thursday of last week. That chase started all the way up in Whitley County, Kentucky. TBI says a Jellicoe police officer started chasing a car down I-75. Anderson County deputies joined the chase. Investigators say Moss lost control and crashed just past the Raccoon Valley Road entrance ramp in Knox County. Here's what the TBI says happened next. Officers approached the vehicle, and for reasons that are still under investigation tonight, they fired shots hitting Moss. He was pronounced dead at a hospital. No officers were injured in the incident. All we know about Moss at this point is that he was 51 years old and lived in Lexington, Kentucky. We'll keep watching for more information. Moving down our big story list, what would it take to put Sevier County's power lines underground? It's a question we're revisiting in light of the wildfires breaking out late last month. Since then, state forestry investigators pinned the blame on downed power lines for sparking those fires. Today, the Sevier County Electric System's general manager told us a large pine tree fell somewhere on Indigo Lane, hitting a distribution line. That Indigo Lane fire and another closer to Seymour did nearly $70 million in damage. But making the switch to buried power lines, we're told, would be expensive. Thousands of dollars for a homeowner to have done just for a few feet of line. To say nothing of the complicated process on a county-wide basis, and in some ways tough to maintain, meaning getting the power back on might take longer.
Getting the power back on when you do have a problem, trying to find the problem, trying to isolate the problem is an issue. Where if you're overhead, you can drive out the line, you can see it, you find it, you fix it, and you move on. If you go to digging, you know, you're basically going to have to dig up the roads to get any underground service in, and, you know, that's going to cause some destabilization of roadways and things of that nature.
The utility company tells us it spends millions of dollars in tree trimming efforts every year, but weather conditions can make any area where there are power lines dangerous. If you are concerned about power lines in your area or want an estimate on just how much it would cost to bury those lines in your neighborhood, give Sevier County Electric System a call. Our next Big 7 story for you, a judge knocks down the decision to make travelers keep their masks on. Americans have been wondering with lower COVID numbers when they could go maskless on planes, buses, and trains. The federal order was set to run out today, but last week, you may remember, the CDC pushed it back another 2 weeks. That was until a federal judge in Florida ruled today that the CDC did not justify its decision and did not follow appropriate rulemaking. The May 3rd extension was designed to give more time for health authorities to watch for more growth of a new subvariant, BA2, thought to be responsible for the majority of cases in the U.S. Speaking of that subvariant, Knox County's health department expects that most of the new cases here reflect what's being seen around the southeast, where BA2 is behind around 80% of cases. The health department spokesperson describes Knox County's increase in COVID-19 cases as slight and not representing a significant change. Our next big story takes us up to Campbell County for a better look at damage done by a rock slide. It's been blamed for slowdown since this morning. TDOT is now posting better video of the slide on the northbound side just past the Rarity Mountain Road exit. TDOT says that's about 5 miles from the Tennessee-Kentucky state line. The spot already had a barrier wall and fencing in place, and TDOT tells us it worked in keeping large materials from getting onto the roadway. Still, those tons of rocks crumpled the metal support beams and pushed debris over the wall. Traffic was slow at last check, and TDOT was saying to use caution and expect delays during those peak travel times. Rounding out our Big 7 list, a former mansion soon to be rubble, then to be gone. You've probably seen the place, Villa Collina, along Lions View Pike in West Knoxville. It once looked like it belonged along the shores of the Mediterranean rather than the banks of the Tennessee River. Demolition is getting underway this week, although we are told weather conditions will dictate how much gets done and how fast. Sold in November for $6.5 million. The demolition alone will cost $147,000. This is according to permit paperwork. The house was thought to be the largest single-family residence in the state with 8 bedrooms, 11 full bathrooms, totaling more than 40,000 square feet. After it is torn down, plans call for the property to be divided up into 3 lots.